Hey everyone, welcome back to another video here on Bantro Builds. Today I'm going to be reviewing my three Makita skill saws, one being a track saw, not a skill saw, but same thing. So I've actually used the HS003GZ for over a year or so now. It's a 185mm 40V skill saw. This thing has been awesome, super powerful, reliable skill saw. It always cuts dead square, cuts on the right angle that I need, and I've never had any problems. It's a braked brushless motor, so you know, auto stop when you release. If I were to put a battery into it, when I pull it, let go of the trigger, it stops super fast. So it's not going to, if you were to finish your cut and put it down, by the time you put it down, your blades normally stopped. So that's been great. Next product I brought was the 40V track saw. I've reviewed this on my YouTube channel, and I'll put it up in the top corner here for you guys to go check out after this video. This thing's awesome. I've had this for 6 or 7 months as well. Used it a whole bunch, used it cutting plywood sheets and making molds and things, and the plunge cutting's great. Being one battery instead of the 36V version that I used to have, being 2 batteries, I just absolutely love it. And I have converted over fully to the 40V range now. So still at the old gear, 18V, but I am slowly trying to get rid of it. I've sold a lot of stuff to some friends and family, and yeah, so I've tried to cut some rafters down before, some 6x2 here in New Zealand we call it, which is 45 by 140 wide timber. I tried that on the track saw, and because of the amount of torque you need, you're only revving out at 4,900 RPM on max on this track saw, or 2,500 on low. So it did struggle, and it did kind of bend out a little bit and not cut dead square, and I wasn't that happy with it. And you could just hear it wasn't happy, and it's not what it's supposed to do. It's more for sheet cutting, doing your flooring, doing your plywood, and so on. So when I heard about this new 40V 185mm skill saw, the sister model of this one, the fact that it's track compatible, the base has been changed. I thought that was awesome. The model number is the HS004 this time, not 3, so 4GZ. When I heard about that, I thought, can't wait to buy that and do a review and use that as my new daily. So this tool I was gifted, that's going to be given away to someone, and then I'm now replacing my daily that I've used. This one back here is my old one. Still beautiful, still runs good. That's now going to live in the workshop, and I'm going to now swap it out, and that's now going to be in the van. I'm going to see what I think. Obviously the base is wider, putting them side by side, so for the next week or so I'll have it on site and see what I think. I don't think it's going to be a problem, but hey, it does take more space, so maybe it is the fact that both tools end up in the van still, and I only bring this out if I'm cutting down timber like that and I need the track, but we'll see. So a few different kind of depths of cut we've got between all three of these, both skill saws. Depth of cut is 68.5 on the 90 degree and 47.5 on the 45 degree. At 57 degrees on the miter we've got 35.5mm. So overall it's pretty good. I'm super happy about on the 45 I can get 47 because I was doing some fascias the other week, and I tried to cut the 45 with my track saw just so I didn't have to manhandle a 6-meter piece of cedar through a drop saw. And what I found was this one here only cuts 40mm on a 45 degree, and my timber was 44. So went to cut it and didn't work. I had to take it over to the drop saw and finish the cut that way. So that was a little bit frustrating, but that's where this one's going to come in handy for any future tasks like that. Yeah, so 40mm at 45, and at 90 degrees the max depth is 56, but I tell you right now, you won't be cutting that deep with this track saw. It'll just struggle, and it won't be happy while you're doing that. So as you can do that, but I wouldn't recommend it. At 48 degrees, which is the max angle miter you can do on this track saw, your cutting depth is 38mm. So you've got your locking pins, your kind of swivel pins front and back of this track saw, which helps keep it nice and rigid, I've found, which is really nice for just keeping it solid. It doesn't move at all, and so on. And you've also got that clip on the side of the tool that I've shown in my review, mentioned earlier, that stops it falling off the track when you're doing the miter. And I think it's awesome because they've also incorporated that into the skilly as well. So Makita have done well there. That's also got it, so happy about that. The HS004, so the track saw model, also the same thing, has the pins front and back for the bevel, whereas the original 40 volt skilly only has the one on the front. So I'd say the reason for that will be the fact that this is tracksaw compatible, and it just keeps it more rigid. It will be more accurate that way, so I'm happy about that. Noise, you're looking at basically the same noise for these two tools. Just over 90 decibels. I did a test and that was pretty standard. It doesn't sound any louder than other skillies I've had and things like that, so it's not an issue, but it's definitely one of the tools you're going to need your earmuffs and things. This is 89 decibels when running at high, depending on the material obviously, but yeah, so total weight, all three are basically the same. They're very, very close. You're looking at about 3.9 kgs or 8.6 kind of pounds without a battery, and then you add a 4 amp battery to either tool, which weighs about 1 kilogram, so you're more kind of the 5 kilogram range, which is pretty maneuverable. And yeah, so I still keep an 18 volt skill saw in my van, the small model, and that's just for overhead cuts and things like this. Is obviously it is a heavy skill saw for overhead or like anything when you're reaching and all that, so keeping that option there. But all three are AWS auto start, Bluetooth, Bluetooth compatible. I only really use it on the track saw, but it works great. I'm still waiting on the 40 volt vacuum to come out that has the AWS built into it, so once I get that I'll be doing a review. I've got it on order, so I'm very, very excited to have that and not have to run my big corded one anymore. I've seen the specs for that and it looks awesome. It runs at 23 kPa, and the big model that I have recorded is 25, so it's basically as powerful and as good a suction as the corded model. So look forward to that. Please subscribe if you want to see that in the coming weeks when I finally get it. But I do have myself the 216mm 40 volt droppy. I've had this for probably the same as the track saw, just over 6 months or so. I've been testing it out, been using it every day. Absolutely love the thing. I couldn't recommend it enough. But the only downfall is obviously the max depth cut, which is why I'm now looking into the next size up, the 260 or the 305. So trying to get my hands on one of those to do in the video alongside this. I'll be doing that maybe next week or the following, depending when Makita can help get that delivered. So yeah, all goes well, we'll do that next. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments below if you want any questions answered, and follow me on Instagram at Bantro Builds to see me using this every day. I'll post some kind of short stories on it using it at work, so you see a lot more Bantro Builds content on there. I'm pretty busy at the moment, so YouTube has been on the back front, but we're going to try push them through. Been using these tools for so long now, I think it's the best time to tell you what I think after 6 months using them. I've got the new pin gun as well, the 40 volt pin gun that runs 40mm straight pins as the max pins, but it's 18 gauge, so that'll be another thing I'll show you guys. But yeah, until then, thank you for watching and we'll see you in the next one. Too easy.